Hey guys, here with another cast from iNcontrol's replay pack. This time the replay was entitled Verse Flash IDK, so I'm gonna assume that it's Flash. Yeah. Who wouldn't? In the bottom left, we have iNcontrol as the white Zerg, and then in the top right, we have Flash IDK, or Funnylink, as the orange Terran. So another TVZ. The last Terran that I cast in Brood War didn't really have a lot of the, I guess, more typical builds that I saw. Didn't try any mech transition, didn't really go like pure SK Terran, a lot of Marines and Science Vessels, so sort of a mix. iNcontrol went for fast Hydras, which I expect him to do again. Apparently he has a fear of mutamicroing. Should be a phobia word for that. It works out for him though, alright. Hydras, while they aren't, I guess, the little or most common builds, you see in professional play, definitely still mutas into Hydras. They can still work out. You eventually get the Spire anyways to get Scorched, just to actually take out the Science Vessels that they no doubt are getting, or, you know, dropships too. Love this matchup. Favorite matchup's actually TVP though. When it comes to Zerg, I don't know, I don't play it very well, and I don't know much about it. So, it's a little weird. Obviously, iNcontrol's ladder name is TSA Vongla, which I have no idea what that is. Or Saw Vongla? I'm sure it's like a Warhammer dude or something, because he's gonna nerd like that, right? Well, early game, gonna be looking for a 1-rack expand from the Terran player. Later gas than you get in any other matchup. Actually, a gases expand and a CC first is viable in every single matchup, but it's such a bold thing to do. You really have a lot of faith in your early game control and micro, which I think a lot of people up until even like maybe C or something, although that's not how the new ranking system is. I'm gonna go with it. I feel really have. Certainly learning how to micro with SCVs and the one Marine that pops out or whatever, it's like, it just takes a lot of finesse. SCVs do not want to cooperate. Nothing in Brood War wants to cooperate. I have an SCV looking for that scout. This was, I guess, like what was that, as the barracks is building, so, on a 4-player map, which a lot of Brood War maps are. In this ladder pool, we don't have any 2-spawn one. I think we only have a couple 3-spawn ones, but anyways, you might not have seen an early pool, which, you know, definitely could have hurt him. When a Marine pops out, takes care of iNcontrol's scout. And there's the command center, SCV. Taking a little pit stop. SCV will scout into here and see that a hatchery was in fact on the way. There it finishes now, and a spawning pool has already been made. No gas quite yet. And SCV can kind of stick around here for actually a very long time, even if they're going to get lings. If you have the SCV micro, if you have the APM to spare, you can run around the base. No problem. Dodge out the lings, use that diagonal pathing to your favor. But you're just going to go by and scout a really quick third base hatchery. So a lot of the time you'll see third base hatcheries, well, not the third base, so it's an appropriate thing to say. But rather like right here, and that's where they put their tech as well a lot of the time. But Circuit Breaker, I think this is the map that I last got some control on too. This is a gasless third base to take. It's obviously still safer than this one over here, but it is gasless, and I don't know. I think it takes it's taken in ZVP, like at this timing, but ZVT I thought it was different. I'm still learning, as well as I'm sure a lot of people who come to my channel are, since my channel is predominantly StarCraft 2. Well, this SCV is on a wild ride. Trying to dodge and weave, dodge and weave. Already have a sunken colony on the way. Just one, and then once you see they are going for any type of bio attack, you do set up a lot more. What do we have going on here, though? Actually, not a second barracks, but rather right into that factory. So that scout definitely revealed, like, not really, you know, obviously there's not the third base in here, third hatchery in there, still no lair, and I think iNcontrol might at this point be a little bit notorious for going Hydras. That SCV also might maybe have seen that. Actually, I don't think you have the same. Yeah, it's too bad. It really sucks that the replay feature, UI and vision feature doesn't exist in here. But it exists for the observer UI. I don't see why they couldn't have done the same thing for both. But hey, whatever. Anyways, it does seem like our Terran is reacting to... oh no, just kidding, he's going mech. Alright, well, I didn't actually think of that possibility, so we don't see it very often. If you see mech, it's usually off the back of already going bio and dealing with... I lost my train of thought right there. Dealing with Betas, there we go, not Hydras, but a bunker on the way. Engineering bay is going to finish and lift off anyway, so while it looks to be in a worrying spot, is going to actually just not even matter. He's going to build up for a couple missile turrets, perhaps, because his first form of detection is going to be either missile turrets or scanners, and he does not have a Terran Academy, so it is going to be missile turrets. We're going right into the Terran starport, though. I mean, if you're not going to take a pit stop around a couple of barracks, then you're going to have that faster tech. And I do have, what? Oh, I think last game, that was a ZVP, actually, never mind. I was going to say a double upgrades. I thought it was what happened last time, but no, this is a macro hatchery, which obviously in StarCraft 2 you say that and you mean like the one extra hatchery they have amongst all the bases they're taking. No, in StarCraft Brood War you're gonna have macro hatcheries at like every single base. Getting a little awkward here since I need to alt tab really quick. Unfortunately, it's another feature that StarCraft Remastered is missing, is keeping the music in the background so the production doesn't have to be super awkward. Thanks, Blizzard. Well, we have vultures without speed. They're not quite speedy enough. You can actually see what it's producing from the tech lab, though, instead of guessing. So it is going to be a tank upgrade, a siege upgrade here. So unfortunately, these guys, you know, they're not too microable. Do they have mines? I don't think they do. The tech lab must be pretty new. Oh, they do. Just kidding. Guess I was talking about the Zerg and alt tabbing, I suppose. That was quite a bit of time. I wasn't paying attention to the machine shop. Not Tech Lab, Machine Shop. So mines will definitely be coming down just to get a lot of scouting. The off chance that they actually get a shot, then great. They are free, although they are limited, unlike Raynor and StarCraft 2. So you just have to be a little bit careful. I don't want to be bringing overlords at overlord speed here. Protoss obviously have to deal with mines all the time, but usually they actually get pretty fast observers, specifically to deal with mines. Although technically you can deal with them with just a couple of Dragoons. It's a little more dangerous with a ton of them. Same with Hydras, I would guess. I don't see the dynamics too often, but I imagine if an Overlord is there, of course they can snipe it, but more importantly, even if an Overlord isn't there, when it pops up, it reveals itself. And that reveal lasts a little while before it actually hits, so I believe it's enough Hydras to kill it. So he could already go around cleaning all that up, but fourth base is on the way, focusing more on the macro settling, settle layer, and it did add on double evolution chamber for the 1-1 upgrades. There's the hive, getting a much faster transition to hive. Lurkers don't do, I mean they do okay against mech, especially when they have that dark swarm around them, and that's kind of the key thing, is having that dark swarm around them. I'm actually not too sure how mech plays like this in Brood War. As I said, I'm used to seeing it past the 5 barracks, or barracks, whatever it is, with, you know, bio first. And that's a different dynamic. Seeing, like, straight to mech, I'm not sure if there are certain timings that can be hit with any type of upgrade, if you want to be pushing out a little more aggressively. In StarCraft 2, the rule really is, until you're up to 150 supply, if you push out, they better be some greedies, or you should just already be in such a huge lead. Anything else, and mech just does not support each other enough in those lower numbers. I'm not sure actually it works in Brood War. I know versus Protoss, it is still kind of the same idea, but you do have 2 base, like 5 factory pushes that do push before 150 supply. Because getting actually above 100 supply in Brood War does take forever. You can see it's still, they're still working towards it and nothing has really happened. But at this point in time, iNcontrol knows that it's mech. Obviously with the vultures sending down spider mines, that might have been his first indication, because I don't think he had an overlord inside the base, but now he knows for sure. And cleaning up mines is actually going to be kind of a dangerous and tedious job, as he does want to eventually be able to just send his army across the map, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, And if you do that, there's a big chance that they actually don't bother to attack fast enough because AI and Brood War is stupid. So, and if you want to go Lings later, they actually just literally, of course, die because they're melee units. So Spider Mines. We have an attack of Hydras coming in here. Tanks are pre-siege, getting that long stretch on Circuit Breaker over to the third base. Nice supply depot SimCity. This guy's SimCity's actually pretty good. Finally has a couple of comsat stations as well on his way to Science Vessel's already got one. So if Lurkers were even out, that wouldn't be a problem. The Hive is done. Is there a defiler mound? There it is. Gotta see some defilers covering those lurkers. So if there's enough tanks in Brood War, they'll still do enough splash damage to take down lurkers. You have to have a lot of tanks though, so it is kind of more of a mech thing than it is like a marine tank thing. But you also might not ever get the chance to kill the defiler with the tanks. In fact, if the Zerg is really good, then I'd say that's kind of the point. You're not supposed to do it. Either they are protected by the Dark Swarm and you're hitting lurkers, or they pull back behind the Dark Swarm and you can't advance. So one of the answers, besides sniping them with vultures, which is pretty gosu, is also sniping them with a radiate. Fortunately, Hydra's not going to be able to go up against chokes and tanks. So this looks like a freebie fourth base for Terran player. Third base is being built on location. Fourth base in Maine. It's actually something you see a lot in Circuit Breaker, I think, which is just a much faster expansion process. I would say that actually in Brood War, the expansion process is faster anyways. This game plays a lot around attacking and expanding more so than I feel StarCraft 2 does. But anyways, especially on Circuit Breaker, because its third base doesn't have a gas. And if you're going mech, whether it's versus Protoss or versus Zerg, then you definitely want to go that fast hop over to the fourth. Okay, he actually built the fourth over here, but is building it over, whatever, anyways. He's gonna get it eventually is the point. So Spider Mine's still around the map a little bit. I mean, this is more than just looking for the odd, amazing hit against Hydras. It's also going to be trying to scout. So maybe some more would have been in order. They also produce super fast. So especially if you have 4 factories and they're all meant to build vultures, they don't have machine shops, there we go. You should be just flooded with vultures. It's the easiest thing to remax on. They're super cheap at 75 minerals, I believe, and they have that added benefit of spider mines, so they're pretty good units. iNcontrol is on 4 bases, pretty happily mining away here. Has all the tech available to him now, and he's even getting an Ultraless Cavern. 2 upgrades in Brood War for Ultras, both speed and armor. And continuing on with the upgrades, now getting melee upgrades. So currently at 1-1 for his Hydras versus just the 0 for that one. 1-0. Okay, there's a armory somewhere. There we go. It's like one being added on now. I was gonna say iNcontrol probably wants more hatcheries as the Terran keeps expanding. Not really been in engagements. Oh, but this is really cool. I didn't notice this initially. Queens are being massed here. So I'd say this still is a very popular tactic, but it is one, I guess, well known amongst Brood War watchers. If you're a little more casual, then you probably don't realize this. But queens, I kind of wish you didn't reveal them to the vultures. Oh well. They have a thing called Parasite, and maybe you experienced this in the campaign, but any mechanical unit can be parasited, and that instantly turns it, no matter how expensive it is, whether it's a tank or a vulture or a zealot, or dragoon, rather, yeah, into a parasite, like 2 parasites actually. And that, you know, it's not about the parasites, it's not about the broodlings that pop out of it, it's about the fact that you just literally took out a tank with a spell, and it's so good. You have to be careful, these are spellcasters, so like a Radiate or EMP or anything else you have. Wings dying right there. You can't just control them and go for it because it'll be a big old waste. Pretty sure that still holds true for the queen, so it's just about spell casting as the game goes on, and making sure that's not smart cast actually works out well. That's you know, now that he's shown the queens, I actually don't quite know what the answer for that is. I've never gotten EMP versus Zerg, but I suppose that is an answer, right? Just as it would be versus Arbiters. Unfortunately, I also find Lurkers over here. Lots of scans going down, probably just checking out the bases and the army setup. There are the queens, there they go. Casting that Parasite, Zerg broodlings pop out and do attack. So not only do you get the benefit of taking out a legitimate, like, an entire tank, You also get the benefit of splash damage. If they are sieging you up, then they are almost always guaranteed to have some tanks right up against each other, and splash can be a real bitch. So you're going to be looking to take advantage of that with queens. This is a very nice offensive setup, even got a couple of bunkers. Now, when Dark Swarm comes into play, which we haven't seen quite yet, that is where the base busting capabilities of Zerg really get quite high. We have a transition into barracks. That is so weird. It's definitely the reverse. It's usually bio to mech. I'm not sure how viable mech to bio is. Okay. Yeah, right. He's even upgrading. He's getting the Marine range right now. Not sure what to say about that, but in control, continuing to expand, just a lot of drones, a lot of mining, is banking quite a bit. Should be maxing out in due time. Also continuing to upgrade. I imagine the Ultras are just about fully upgraded. I think that is the Carapace upgrade. Defilers waiting to go. They have consumed their heart's content. Still a lot of queens. Looks like most of them have at least one parasite, it looks like. Dark Swarm does go down. You want the lurkers and hydras to go into that Dark Swarm. With this many tanks, though, that is the splash I believe that I was talking about. And unfortunately, the defilers don't get under or fast enough away, so one of them does die. I think that would have been a really good engagement had our mech player had a couple of vultures. So he's going Goliaths, and I guess that's a response to the queens. Certainly kill the queens, similar idea to like actually killing the defilers, but I would also say EMP the queens, or maybe I'm wrong here. This is unexplored territory for me. I can only say the games, I've seen on like Brood War streams, which most of them tend to look like each other, and this is not looking like them. 5th base underway. This is where the army was moving was to protect this base. I'm also seeing a lack of vulture or spider mines. A general lack of vultures, actually, but I meant more about the spider mines. Lings can get on top of these tanks. They're getting upgraded, they're getting adrenal glands. They're being supported by a bunch of ultras. This is going to give much easier remax potential to in control as well. Ultra's obviously a lot more expensive. We have a defense matrix cast of all things on a tank that does soak up a lot of damage. It does not make the unit invulnerable. It just literally soaks up a lot of damage, so eventually it gets to go away if there's enough units. Lots of Dark Swarms going down too, and this tank line has been broken. Goliaths, not really the best on the ground against Ultras, are not able to quite take them all out, and this 4th base is going to be under siege soon enough. There are 4 tanks, but that's where Lings, I would say, would come in and destroy him. In controls on so many bases, he'd really not be running out of money anytime soon. It's more about just his actual production and APM. How much can he use? Because he's going to be going from, you can only have so many hotkeys for your hatcheries. I think some Zerg players are more likely to hotkey their hatcheries. Some are more likely to hotkey their army. Jaedong, I was so surprised to see, only hotkeys 3 armies, apparently. 1, 2, and 3 go to those armies, and I thought that was bewildering, but it sounds like it's really personal preference. So, but the point is, with 9 or 10 hatcheries, you're going to just be actually jumping base to base, and it's actually quite the APM task to remax, even if you have the money. Lings, Hydras, and a couple more Dark Swarms are going to go down here. The Marines are so weird. I don't know why would you go Marines after mech. The thing is, mech is the ultimate composition, so if you've already gotten there, then kudos. But also, the whole splash damage thing I was talking about, their supreme damage versus ultras compared to the weak damage of the Marines. There's just so many things late game that is better for mech. It's amazing to watch Marine Science Vessel tank do anything, but that's something that starts in the beginning and continues onward to the late game. More often you see a transition to mech because it is so much better as you go up to later and later Zerg. So I'm really quite puzzled by the Marines. Because he's not even really playing to what I guess what the strength of the Marines be, which is dropping and running around. He's not even getting medics. So weird. I feel like if he hadn't transitioned too, then his mech army would have been just so huge and he would have been taking some of these battles. But no, not the case. A very weird game. So the 5th is broken. Terran player's still on a bunch of other bases. Could definitely get to another good army or two. But he's getting it on the Marines. Maybe he just thought that the Queens would be a huge problem, and that if he went Marines, they wouldn't be as big of one. But unless iNcontrol was literally trolling and going for mass Queen, I can't see how transitioning into bio is good. I don't know. Broodwar guys, let me know if this is totally a legit thing. I'm just out of the loop. This command center did live. Wasn't too many Hydras in that attack. iNcontrol is bothered setting up a couple of Sunkens at his outside bases, but there's been just no attacks on his side of the map. It's been all about him attacking into the Terran. Terran didn't even really try and turtle, I would say, that hard. He expanded pretty quickly, while the 4th base was totally a safe expand. Very nicely done. The 5th was a little more questionable with the army, or the general supply hovering around 150 for the most part for a Terran player. While trying to take that. Where I think he could have just gotten maxed out. You can even get maxed out on 3 bases. So, 4, definitely. Would have liked to have seen that first. No bio transition, you know, maxed out mech. Oh well. Another defense matrix. It's a kind of a cheeky thing to do, I feel. Oh, we got some play going on as well. It doesn't take anything down to 1 HP. So unless you can heal it or cleanse it, which no one has. It does a ton of damage. Ultras rampaging through here, finding some spider mines. They pack quite a punch, so they're useful to have in conjunction with a lot of tanks, but the army is clearly dominant for iNcontrol, who is now maxed out. Not so much for Funnylink. Well won, GG. This is why it was Flash, probably, because that's the Korean way of tapping out most of the time. GG. iNcontrol takes another win with the Hydra opener, this time against a mech player. A mech player went into bio. That's weird. If you enjoyed the cast, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time for some more Brood War.